So put peace on your plate this Christmas Day.
So, how did Tower Hill Sanctuary start?
Well, it started back in 1993 when I first met Fiona, and then we were operating out of a two-bedroom bungalow in Ongar, and Fiona had a little two-bedroom house as well. Obviously most of the animals were kept at livery yards, and obviously it got to the point where we had about 5 livery yards on the go, in between both having full-time jobs obviously. And we decided that it was crazy carrying on just paying out loads and loads of money in rent, so we tried to find somewhere with a bit of land, and that's when we found this place in 1997, and we consolidated everything at one site because we thought how much easier it would be if everything was on one location. I carried on going to work, and then Fiona stayed here to looking after the animals, and that was great. However, obviously as time went by, more and more people discovered the sanctuary and given us animals to look after, so we started expanding and expanding. So we reached capacity at this place, and then we had to start finding other places. So we found a yard up the road to rent, and then another yard became available, and then another yard became available, and then another yard. And last year we managed to acquire a farm up at Bradwell, which has got 40 acres. And we're now pretty much at capacity on all 6 sites, so we're kind of almost back to where we are, unless we can find somewhere that's got like 200 acres where we can consolidate everything. We're kind of back to where we were, but we're managing things as we are at the moment. But it is obviously difficult with 6 sites and just Fiona and I looking after all the animals. Obviously I'm no longer at work, I'm retired now.
To give people an idea of how you've grown, can you give us an idea of how many animals you started with and how many you look after now? Roughly?
Gosh, I think when we moved in, we had a lot more smaller animals. We had about 15 hamsters and about 20 chinchillas, and there were kind of animals that could be managed in a 2-bedroom bungalow in Ongar rather than a farm setting. And we had probably about 6 or 7 horses that were at the livery yards, and we had about only had 3 dogs. We didn't have any sheep or pigs or that sort of animal, but now we're up to about 102 horses. We've got 100 sheep, we've got 140 pigs, we've got about 12 dogs altogether. There are numerous cats. We haven't got too many rabbits and small animals like that, because we're mainly geared around farm animals now. And we've got about 50 cows, of which 4 arrived yesterday from being saved from slaughter, 4 young Herefords that were going to be slaughtered, but that brings us up to about 50 cows now.
And so you alluded to cows being saved from slaughter. Is that where most of your animals come from?
Yeah, most of the cows, most of them are male, because obviously being a male cow is pretty much a death sentence. There are lots of baby cows we rescue that are going to be slaughtered from the dairy industry. We take those on and we hand rear them, and then we look after them obviously. At the other end of the scale, we do have a relationship with some farmers where they let us take their retiring dairy cows. So where the dairy cow reaches around about 9 years old, normally they go off for slaughter at that point, but some farmers are reaching out to Fiona and saying, I don't really want to send my girl to slaughter, will you take her? And in that situation we do. So that's how we've probably taken about 15 cows through that way, and they're older girls, but probably the majority of them are young males that are going to be slaughtered or fattened for beef, and we manage to get them, or other people manage to get them and then bring them to the sanctuary and we'll look after them.
So if they don't come here, they won't exist. So what's life for them like instead?
Oh, it's terrible. They have to eat loads of food. They have to go out to the fields and graze, and they get to sleep on straw beds. It's hideous.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
And what's it like running a sanctuary like this? So it's obviously a lot of hard work. What's it take in terms of hours, resources, money?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, since I've retired 3 years ago, I can honestly say I haven't had a minute. I know everyone says that, but I really haven't had a minute. It's literally, when I was at work, I was doing a little bit of stuff in the morning, and obviously in the evenings and the weekends was maintenance. But most of the time I was sitting at work behind a desk doing a desk job. Here it's 7 days a week. You're getting up, you're dealing with the jobs all day long. Summertime is actually worse because you've got much more daylight to work in, so you don't tend to stop. And the chickens don't put themselves away till like 10:30. So you're starting at 6 in the morning. You're not really finishing till like 10:30 at night, and then you've got the admin to do. You know, you've got to catch up with the admin, because these days people expect replies kind of instantly. Well, they expect you to get back to them, and it's just like, you know, you're on a tractor, you don't get the message. You've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got emails, you've got Twitter, you've got all those different things. Like somebody says, "Oh, I messaged you." It's just like, where? Which medium? You know, I haven't got 2 hours to go and check all the different mediums. And was it a comment? Was it a notification? You know, it's very difficult these days to keep up with things. But yeah, it's full on. People say they would love to do what we do. I would say think very carefully about that, because it is a huge commitment. You can't go out, you can't go on holiday, and it's 24/7, 7 days a week.
And how much money does it take to run the sanctuary?
At the moment, I would say our feed bills, now we're pushing 600 animals, the feed bills must be edging around about £12,000 a month, and obviously more in winter time, because obviously in the winter you have to feed more because it's cold, so the animals use up more energy keeping warm. Plus obviously you've got vets bills, you've got maintenance, you know, we've got tractors to look after, we've got, you know, equipment to buy, particularly now we've got the farm. You can't run a farm with just a small tiny little tractor. You know, you suddenly get there and think, oh dear, you know, I've got 40 acres I need to harrow. I can't do that with my little lawnmower tractor thing. You know, I need a big tractor. You know, we need a telehandler to manage the muck. Overall, you know, we need to spend a lot of money on equipment. So it's probably, I would say it's probably pushing between £15,000 and £20,000 a month to keep going, and that's without paying any of our expenses, because we don't do this for a living.
Yeah. And so, talking about the reason why we're here today, Peace on Your Plate. What did you think about when you were asked whether you were happy for the Christmas #1 to support Tower Hill?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's really, really amazing. We're really grateful that you've chosen, you know, Fiona's efforts and Tower Hill to recognise those efforts, because, you know, we've been at this a very, very long time. You know, Fiona's got a considerable number of achievements under her belt. You know, 4 Guinness World Records when she was told she wouldn't walk properly. It's crazy. And all these animals, and she's been vegan for 47 years, so we are fantastically privileged to be recognised in this way. It's fantastic.
And let's fast forward 3 months, and let's just imagine there's a vegan Christmas #1 at the charts. That's,
when you say imagine, I mean, there will.
All right, when it is, yes, I like that. That's the positivity we want. When there's a vegan Christmas #1 and it's raising money for Tower Hill, firstly, what do you think that would do for your sanctuary?
Well, that financial stress is a major source of stress, because, you know, we had a situation where we had an appeal recently, and that brought in a lot of one-off donations, which is amazing, and we really do need those donations. But what we really need is regular support, because you don't just feed the animals once. You know, it's tomorrow, it's the next day, it's the next day, it's next week, it's next month. It goes on, and it goes on for years and years and years. So what we really need is that awareness that people can see what Fiona's doing, and what we're trying to do at Tower Hill Stables. Because obviously rescuing animals is one element. Obviously promoting the vegan cause is actually a far more important thing, because that's going to affect a lot more animals and the environment in a way that we can't do just by having an animal sanctuary. So obviously getting funds in will enable us to continue to run the sanctuary, to get help in to run the sanctuary, whilst Fiona can go off and do what she does, out there doing speaking, you know, engaging with people and promoting veganism in her unique way.
And what about the implications of a vegan Christmas #1 for the vegan community, for awareness around veganism?
Well, I think it's a fantastic idea, and obviously when it comes to fruition, obviously then it will bring veganism to a wider audience. I mean, it's on a massive roll at the moment, so obviously we have to roll this forward to, you know, Christmas #1. Let's go for it. I'm putting peace on my plate this Christmas because the animals are my friends, and I don't eat my friends.